All right, welcome. This is the inner circle. I'm trapped in this little box again. I tried to get out. They got me back. But that doesn't matter because today we're here to talk about nonsense. I don't know what our topic is. I don't think we have one. We're just going to get going. AJ, what do you got?
All right, so this is a little movie that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time now, that I am confident almost no one knows about but me. A little backstory with this movie. I first saw it on Comcast when I still had cable for free. And then I managed to track it down at a Fry's, which is like a Best Buy, but cheaper. And it's called Krull. And this is, believe it or not, a sci-fi fantasy, more of a fantasy than a sci-fi, that came out about a year or so after Return of the Jedi. And it was literally approved because it was ripping off Return of the Jedi. It was trying to bank off Star Wars' success.
So, wait, what is it about?
But here, I'll read the description real quick. Excalibur meets Star Wars. Journey into a mystical time and place that belongs to neither the past nor the present, where extraordinary creatures of myth work their incredible magic, and where a horrific, omnipotent beast is the ruler. This is the planet of Krull. And this is essentially King Arthur in space. You got your prince who has to, rescue the damsel, defeat the monster, gather a bunch of, ridiculous companions behind him. You've got like the old wizard. You've got the brash rogue, the fantastical creature, but rather than a Wookiee, you've got a Cyclops. This is also the movie where the glaive comes from, which I don't know if you've seen South Park, but there's a famous clip where Jesus throws like this six-sided ninja star.
Not anymore. I'm removing you from your position.
Oh my God! Wait, okay, I know about that. I know about
Yeah,
this.
that's a reference to this movie.
Uh-huh.
So instead of a lightsaber, he's got like this throwing star, and it's the only thing that can kill the bad guy.
Okay, I'm gonna splice in mini clips to just, I don't know, as many clips as I can find online of this right now. Okay, make sure everybody just kind of feel that while these dudes stare at me.
It's one of the most wacky movies I have ever seen. Like the sets look very cheap, the characters are cheesy, the dialogue is cheesy. The bad guys, they're just evil for evil's sake. Like the minions are like these weird fishbowl head looking guys. And whenever they die, they make this really weird squealing noise, and it gets old really fast.
I really love just the go back half second here. I really love that the back of the box doesn't hide it either. There's like, oh, it's Star Wars. Like, oh, all right, cool.
Yeah, they don't try to be. They're not secretive about this at all. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were getting into. But fun fact about this movie, probably one of the only good things about this movie is that lavish rogue I was telling you about. This was Liam Neeson's first movie, and he plays that character. They've actually got a picture of him on the back of the box here.
Oh my goodness. Now, okay, so what you're telling me is now I have to watch this.
Yeah, if you're a Liam Neeson fan, you kind of owe it to yourself to watch this.
I have one question about this. What's the runtime?
The runtime? The runtime is 121 minutes, so almost exactly 2 hours.
Oh my goodness.
That was long for a movie like this back in the day.
For a weird sci-fi knockoff that would just come into your local theater for like 2 weekends and disappear. 2 hours is surprising. I was expecting like 90 minutes.
No, when you pop this in, you're in a 2 hour ride and you're locked into the coaster. I'm trying to think of like more good things to say about this movie, but there's not a lot.
I was gonna say, like, I'm here mostly for your review of this, and I'm just gonna look it up and put in all these clips into the video here afterwards.
Like it's charming because it's so good, it's so bad it's good. Um, oh, the music in this movie slaps.
Really?
Yeah, the score is actually pretty good.
So
Like
so it's
the
not
opening theme, awesome.
so it's not generic sci-fi music. Like they actually got a score.
I mean, it's a little generic, but for what it is, it's really good. Like you would sort of expect a movie of this quality to be just complete shit, but it's not. Like there are some good things in it, and the music definitely elevates it.
Okay. Um, that's that's interesting, and that's like what you're bringing in. Because I'm bringing in something a little more recent, a little more mainstream. Because the movie I've seen and been interested in lately was Doctor Sleep. Because I missed it last year, I think, when it came out. Um, I watched the director's cut the other day. 3 hours exact. Um, but I will say, as far as making a sequel to The Shining goes, pretty good job. Pretty good.
Really?
Yes, I would recommend it. Especially since we are in spooky season. Spooky season really isn't the best time for weird. I mean, well, it's always a great time for weird sci-fi, but if you got people over, you're probably gonna want something scary. Doctor Sleep is pretty surprisingly terrifying in parts. Um, I'd say like the first half of the movie before they go back to the Overlook is kind of like it's a lot of like literally a lot of just reintroduction of like here's Danny Torrance. He's an alcoholic or was an alcoholic. He's a sober alcoholic, and here's what he's been doing for 30 years, kind of thing. But once it gets back to the Overlook and like all the characters are established, at least in the director's cut. I think in the theatrical cut, I heard it was kind of rough, but it really picks up. And of course, Ewan McGregor kills it like he always does. Completely just owns the movie. I wish I could remember all the actors' names in it.
Isn't Rebecca Ferguson in the movie?
Yeah, she plays the Hat, which is the villain's weird name. I don't know, Stephen King. Uh, she does pretty good. She's kind of, I would say, kind of generic horror villainy. Because the plot is like, if I'm going to simplify it a ton, it's like Danny Torrance finds, because of his shining powers, this little girl also has shining powers. So like he kind of finds her, and she's like, help me, this creepy lady and her cult are trying to murder me and absorb my soul and whatnot. So it's like this whole thing. Really good. The whole reason I was interested in it in the first place after not watching it when it came out was on YouTube. I saw the scene at the bar at the Overlook where Danny like talks to his father again. But his father's reincarnated in the hotel as the bartender, like the old guy was before him. And it was such a great, like such an amazing scene between, I'm forgetting his name, the guy that played Jack in the new movie here.
Wait. Jack Nicholson's in this movie?
No, no. He doesn't play himself. Like he doesn't play the character again. They get another guy to do it. And I hate that I'm forgetting the other guy's name though, because he's also famous for something, and I'm forgetting what it was he was in. But the new guy playing Jack, does an amazing job. Like
Okay.
especially with Ewan McGregor. Like the two, they have crazy chemistry between like how you would imagine an older Danny and then an evil spirit of Jack stuck in the hotel. Like it's great. If they there's YouTube videos of it. If they deep faked Jack Nicholson's face over the dude and just even left a voice alone, you would mostly buy it. You'd be like, "Oh wow, that's crazy."
That's interesting because like to my understanding, like I avoided that movie because I didn't know, like I was pretty confident it wasn't gonna live up to the first Shining.
Mm.
So that's kind of why I avoided it. But now that you're telling me that they brought back Jack Torrance, but it was a different actor, but still done well,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm actually very interested to see this movie now. Like I'm gonna make that
And
a point to see it.
yeah, it's really great. They get oh god, they got a lady to in a couple flashback scenes without spoiling it because I feel like we're gonna have to just do a movie night here and double feature because without spoiling a couple flashbacks, they got this other lady playing Shelley Duvall's role, the mom. I'm forgetting what her name was, but she also does a really good job. It's incredible. Like the actors they have replacing, you know, old crazy people now in like these flashbacks or these kind of weird small mystical moments are really incredible at like bringing those characters back to life, and it doesn't feel cheap or like nostalgia baity like the Jack scene. It happens, and it happens at a great moment in the story, a great moment for the character, because that's another thing. Like throughout the movie, at least myself, I liked most of the other characters are bland except Danny Torrance. You know, he has his arc throughout the thing is really great, and it kind of pulls the movie along. Um, and I don't know. I would say just I was very surprised watching Doctor Sleep these past few days because I was like, wow, a Shining sequel actually wasn't terrible.
That's good news. I'm
Yeah,
very
so
intrigued now.
that's what like it was very interesting. If I was gonna rate it, I'd probably throw like an 8.5 maybe at it. Like I'd give it it's a pretty high rating. I'd give it like an 8.5 because especially too the way it's shot and directed isn't it's not a Kubrick knockoff, but it's very Kubrick esque at times. If that if that makes sense.
Like it respects what came before.
Yeah, like it takes the weird Kubrick vibes of The Shining. It doesn't go like as far into it of just being super abstract and scary because it's so just out there and weird. Like it kind of it's a little more conventional plot wise and like just feeling wise when you're watching it, but it still keeps enough of those like little little elements, little weird vibes, weird shots and scenes. So like you're like, oh yeah, this is like this is a return to this story that's happening. So yeah, I recommend it. Recommend it for Halloween season.
That's cool. Yeah, no, now's the perfect time to watch it. So I'll give it a watch.
And now I'm gonna splice in footage comparing these two movies. Okay, here we go. Here's Krull, and then here's Doctor Sleep. Two movies that you pair very well together in a review and in a watch party. Um, you didn't give Krull a rating, actually.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't give Krull a rating. Because I sort of have a bias for crappy movies, like I find a lot of entertainment value in them. I'm gonna give this as a good bad film a solid 8. But if
Mm.
I was gonna be like a regular critic and judging it solely on whether or not it's a good movie, easy 3, easy 3.
Like just clearly the moment the opening titles go, you're like, yep, it's a 3. That's what we're
Oh
rolling
yeah,
with.
no, from the get go, you're just like, oh, I'm in for a treat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one more recommendation for a movie. I'm not even gonna review it. We got our little thoughts out about these two for this week. You know, I feel like my show here is just it's turning into movie recommendations, but that's fine. We're in quarantine season. Film is dead. That's why we're watching Krull. We are making it along. So watch Doctor Sleep. It's good 8.5. Krull 3 or 7, depending on your level of intoxication. I feel like it's one of those where your rating goes up the more you know.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
So I guess before it storms on me out here, because it's getting pretty dark and scary, that was our little mini inner circle for this week. So watch Doctor Sleep. It's a good quality movie. Watch Krull for the opposite reasons. And my very last recommendation before we go, and what I'm going to end the video off with. Have you ever watched Ishtar?
I have no idea what that is.
3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, and...
These men are pawns. I put a price of 20,000 dirham on their heads.
Next, they will be hailed as the true messenger of God.
They were just a couple of songwriters who came to Ishtar to break into show business.
Easy boy.
What the hell's the matter with him? Is he blind?
Well, yeah, he is, but he's in perfect condition.
So how did they wind up on everyone's hit list?
Your life is in danger.
Behave normally. We have guns pointed at your back. No, don't put your hands up, you idiot.
Oh, little darling. My little darling.
I can't believe these men may control the fate of the Middle East.
Oh, where are you?
Do it.
This is unbelievable.
Knowing well that my lover. Are the two American messengers of God dead yet?
This is the oasis.
Does this look like an oasis to you?
Yeah, look at the birds. Are those vultures?
Just for you.
He's aiming at him.
Will you stop me? Paranoid!
They're trying to kill us.
Warren Beatty, Dustin Hoffman, Isabella Johnny.
Your girl. How did she get to be your girl?
Only you.
I think they're wonderful.
Ishtar, written and directed by Elaine May.
This is some of our best work.